Hi, folks. This is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. You know, Linda and I have just come back from our second big show of the year, our sports shows that we do in New York City, and it was a lot different than what we got in Boston. In the Boston area, most of the people that come are basically very serious, like bass tournament fishermen, and it's a whole different market. And I've told you that the one phenomena of those shows is the trend is towards these big glide baits that cost a fortune. But in the sports show down near New York City, it was different. It was about, it seemed more that the crowd that came were families that were looking for places to go rather than new techniques. But I'll tell you, the one trend that I saw in that show was different than in these other shows. It wasn't about these new big hard plastic lures. It was about basically was about soft plastics and the trends in soft plastics. And I wanted to share with you one of the companies that I was the most impressed with. And I wouldn't do this if I didn't think this could help some of you become enjoy your fishing more. But what I have found in the past is that in fishing I call them tributaries, the rivers that lead into the St. Lawrence, like the Grass and like the Oswegatchie and the St. Regis and the Deer and so forth, the Racket. I found that little baits seem to work better generally for me than big baits. And one of my favorite new baits that I've used over the last couple years is my rediscovery of tubes. And I've told you what tubes were. They're little squishy soft plastic baits with tentacles coming out of a round bottom, and they imitate, I guess, crayfish and other things that look awfully good for fish to want to eat. Well, one of the companies that was at the show that I became very intrigued by and familiar with, it's called FIT Lures, FITT Lures, and it stands for Fishing Innovation Through Technology. And what I found with these, they're little bitty. The lure that really captured my fishing heart it's called the VIG, VIG. And what it is, it's a little small, much smaller than most market tubes. It's, I don't know, the total length with its little tentacles is 2.6 inches. But I think what's interesting is the round, like tube part is much shorter than average. And I think I think the fish are going to go crazy for this. First of all, it's made of a thicker, heavier, soft plastic so that it won't come apart as easier as some of the lighter lures do. And it allows you to put a Ned bait, Ned worm, they're little bitty worms, inside the hole that's where you insert the jig head. You can put one of these little Ned rigs in there, and it becomes a whole nother looking bait. What I suggest you do is go online and look up www.fitlures.com. And it's FITTLURES.com. And you can see what I'm talking about. And when you handle these, oh my gosh, I can't wait till the fish get their mouths on these, because I really think they're going to make a difference. And they come in some incredible colors as well. So I've said one other time I talked to you about another new company, and it's called Fresh Baits. And I wouldn't have told you about that if I didn't really think highly of the people and the designs that they put into this. So this is a company I think more of us should discover, because I think they're going to make lures that we're going to love using. They make a lot of different soft plastics. And one of the secrets to these lures is the plastic formula that they use. And of course, that's all scientific, and they're not going to share that with everybody. But this is one of my tips for some of the new lures that I've seen. I'm really infatuated with these lures. And they come in a lot of different little shapes, too. So it's not just these little tubes that you can get. And they're not expensive. That's another great thing. These aren't expensive lures. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.